Hi, I'm Christy Jenkins. I am a mind-body therapist. I specialize in yoga psychology. So the gratitude sandwich is what we're going to be talking about today. And what is this all about, and how do we use mindfulness tools with the most practical applications? How do we put it into modern, everyday language? This is one of these meals at the Rest and Digest Diner that I think is really powerful as a crossover between the Eastern yogic psychology and spirituality, and then the Western neuroscience and understanding of a lot of aspects of anxiety, grief, joy, happiness, calm, lowering our stress response. It's a really powerful experience. Just take a minute with me right now and think about gratitude. Take a breath and settle your body into some sort of position that's comfortable if that's available to you. Otherwise, you don't need comfort. You just need the awareness of gratitude. So even if you're a little uncomfortable or distracted right now, can you pull up that idea of feeling grateful? Start to bring it into your body. Notice, where do you feel gratitude? Maybe you're thinking of something. So you're thinking of an image, a person. Can you take the image and add to that? Is there a sense of love in your body? Is there a swelling in your chest? Do you notice a heaviness or a lightness in your mind or in your breathing? Gratitude can also bring in feelings of grief, of fear, of anxiety. If it's gratitude for a person or an experience that you know isn't available anymore. So don't be afraid to allow gratitude to spill into other feelings and notice. That's the sandwich part. There's other components of gratitude. There's feelings of gratitude. There's gratitude for grief you've experienced because you've got to live a life with someone or in some way that you may not have done otherwise. And these things have to end, but you can still have gratitude for the process. That would be the filling of your gratitude sandwich, right? The process. All the things you experienced there. Starting any type of challenge with a moment of gratitude would be the first piece of bread in our sandwich. Then I can fill it with a whole bunch of crap if I want to. It can be the healthiest sandwich I ever made, and it's just beautiful additions of more gratitude in my gratitude sandwich. And then I put a gratitude piece of bread on top, and isn't this beautiful? And there's times that can happen. The majority of the time, I'm laying down this gratitude foundation because I gotta walk into some serious gnarly mess. And I'm gonna have to do some extra gratitude work down here to survive whatever filling I gotta put in this nonsense. And then I put the gratitude on top to process whatever I had to experience in the middle, that filling. And that gratitude on top might be if working through, like, I'm a really anxious person. Like, I've spent much of my life crippled by anxiety. The only meaningful practice that has ever transformed my understanding and relationship with anxiety is taken away from me having it as an identity and me more just kind of exploring it as a part and an aspect of how I respond to the world. I haven't been able to make that shift without connecting to gratitude. I have the awareness to know that I don't know everything that I'm gonna experience, but I have a belief in my tools, and I have a faith in my process and my consciousness and my work, my daily training in mindfulness, that I have what it takes to get through whatever I have to experience. Because it allows our brains to connect outside of our worry, outside of our sensation of anxiety, of stress, of depression, of chronic pain. It connects our neural pathways to something outside of what's pinging, what's the alarm systems that are going off. And when it connects to gratitude, your brain, when we're making these connections and feeling our gratitude and building that through and with our stress response, we are building a new road for our brain to go down. And it's the gratitude highway, essentially. So you have your stress highway that you are on almost 90% of the time. I don't know, if you're living a modern American life, I can't imagine that any of us are living below 90% of stress all the time. That's not acceptable. That's dysregulation. So if you're experiencing that and anxiety, bring down your stress, increase your gratitude, find your anxiety starting to level. But part of the tools to confront all the way down to the roots of anxiety and that dysregulation and that hyperactive nervous system using a gratitude sandwich practice, walking into something that feels uncomfortable with gratitude, exploring it, remembering you're connected to gratitude, and ending that situation and processing the gratitude and using gratitude. It can start where you don't even believe the gratitude. Faking it till you make it is still a process of connecting those wires in your brain with a different experience than what you are in the moment currently stressing about. This takes time, and it takes a daily practice. I started for an entire month committing to one time a day. I would tell my partner, my husband, one thing that I was grateful for in our relationship. And that's how I got myself into this, because it's really easy for me to connect with my husband in love and gratitude. And I did it without any expectation. He did not have to return that. I recognized this was my practice. I wanted to see gratitude is not about what I get from the other person. It's just about putting it out there. I just want him to know I am grateful. And that was a really powerful start to me understanding this practice. And I highly recommend that as your first version, especially if you're going into a conflict with your partner. If you've built this daily gratitude practice over 30 days, you can repeat things. You can be grateful there for the same things over and over. That's okay too. Some of us are like less comfortable with our emotional language, but the fact that we're doing it at all connects us. So then we do have a conflict with our partner that becomes inevitable at some point. Both of you can be angry. You can be furious. But if at one point one of you at any time can connect back into that point of gratitude, rebuild that feeling, readdress that new neural pathway that you keep deepening and strengthening every time you practice your gratitude, you will find that your anger will get less faster. Your understanding and ability to navigate conflict with your partner peacefully increases, and the two of you end up in love at the end because you both come back to gratitude. So the sandwich continues. You've been laying out that first piece of bread every single day, building your partner gratitude practice. Then you have to put some of the gross fillings in it sometimes. Most of the time, you're putting in really good things in your relationship. But there's times where you just you burn the bread, you burn the cheese, whatever. It sucks. So you have to navigate that and complete it with the gratitude on top. And then you have a complete conflict that you've just experienced, processed, and learned more about how you self-regulate. And then how you regulate and you co-regulate, which means how you and your partner regulate together. That's another great way to practice gratitude and use a partner for accountability, and also build a relationship in the process. I can't express enough how much joy my husband and I have found in using that practice. And he is not a guy that is comfortable with his words or his feelings. So we did it as a way for us to explore how we could be more comfortable communicating our love for one another. Because we can both get kind of weird and awkward about that. I don't know why we get so shy, but if that sounds familiar to you, check this out. It's a great meal at the Rest and Digest Diner. We are grateful for you checking it out with us. It's been my honor and my privilege.